the guy that was doing the barbecue the first year at it got a phone call on Thursday from the bakery he uses. It's a catering business, like.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Look, sorry, I'm not going to be able to deliver any baps tomorrow." And he was like, "Why, are you away on holiday this weekend or what?" And he was like, "No, because you'll be using them down at that Pride event."
Guys, their baps are sorry. You can fucking, oh, Jesus, boys.
And his reply was, it was like, "Why, you're the fucking gay's not allowed to eat." He's just, you know, but yeah. It was
not
good.
my town.
It was good.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Finnterviews. I'm your host Connor Finn, and this is a show where I get to chat to the most interesting people I know. You know that by now, I know that by now. If you don't, go listen to past episodes. They're all there and they're pretty damn good. On the show this week, I was thrilled to sit down for a chat with the wonderful Chris Big Bear McNaghten. Oh, we discussed everything about Chris's journey coming out publicly as a first gay strongman competitor, the whirlwind of media following all of that, campaigning LGBT awareness and mental health, with Bear Strong having the first same-sex marriage in Northern Ireland, founding Larne Pride, and manifesting a guest judge appearance on RuPaul's Drag Race. Oh, that is literally only a tip of the iceberg what we discussed in this interview. Chris was so lovely, down to earth, and just so inspirational with his chat, so you guys are going to absolutely love it. But without further ado, please enjoy the latest episode of Finnterviews with the wonderful Chris McNaghten. Well, welcome back to another episode of Finnterviews. On the show this week is the actual host of the podcast part this week, because fucking internet and Zoom side be absolute bastards for us for the last half hour. But it is none other than the brilliant Chris McNaghten. How's it going, Chris?
Not too bad.
I say brilliant, not just because of like the stuff that you've done, but for literally being patient with me with through all of this, and I hadn't even got out and interview you yet. So already, I mean, 5-star, best interview I've had yet.
It was 45 minutes of just looking at each other and not hearing each other. So
well, I couldn't see you, so I mean, your first black profile has been like, God, brings me back. Yeah, sorry, I'm just discreet. Don't worry.
Aye, that's exactly what was in my head.
Don't mind yourself, Chris.
It's like I will vid call, but no audio, no talking. Don't make it awkward.
Yeah, and then, geez, then we're getting to the whole, wait, you're hosting, Chris, what are you talking about? Well, anyways, I suppose, Chris, first and foremost, for the people that are listening that maybe don't know yourself or never, hear yourself up. Embarrassing, living under a rock or something. Clearly don't have fucking the internet. Maybe give us a real brief introduction, I suppose. Chris, what you're kind of known for. I mean, where you're from.
Well, from Larne, just outside Belfast in Northern Ireland. Mostly known for probably a strongman career. I competed in strongman for 12 years and 6 of them professionally. About 4 years ago, came out publicly while I was competing in strongman as being gay, and then life just sort of blew up after that. They done MTV reality TV show True Love, True Lies, done shows for the BBC, for RTE, just a lot of TV stuff and that there. Made a documentary called Bear Strong, which led into a brand called Bear Strong. It's like a mental health and LGBT awareness brand. And everything sort of revolves around Bear Strong now, because Bear Strong is like, it's like me, it's mental health education, it's mindset, it's just like a broad spectrum of stuff, but that's where sort of my main work and focus is now, because I retired last year from strongman, so everything's just less training, but more vanity. It's less about how much I lift now and more about how I look and stuff. And the brand is sort of growing, and that's where my main focus is right now.
Yeah, Jesus. Well, I'm delighted that you kind of take the reins or explain that, because I had about 4 things down here and you added about 7 onto that. So I was going to be like, yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, that's cool, like the strongman thing. Clearly, great at researching. But no, yeah, I suppose that's where I first kind of heard your story as well. I suppose in last year, even with like likes of, as you said, after coming out and obviously being in a public sphere in, such a competitive kind of field, everything kind of blew up for you. And I suppose it was like on the likes of the Tommy Tiernan show or, like Colin Geddes, I was being like, I can understand why, because I mean, it kind of comes back to the kind of load of, right, Northern Ireland, like, I mean, everybody's just like gags over anything that isn't fucking like Stone Age. And then to have, I suppose, someone like yourself that is so articulate and has kind of used their platform to kind of create, Bear Strong, that is all about, mental health and LGBT. Like, I mean, it's kind of a triumphant story, really, in a lot of it. So I suppose that's, what I mean? It's, I suppose it's been a bit mad for you the last couple of years.
Yeah, I've sort of just rolled with it, to be honest. I think like the first year I was still like very much like in the shell about a lot of it. I was still caught up in the Northern Ireland mindset quite a bit of worrying about what people think and how things are going to look, and about gossiping and all that. And I quickly got rid of all that and learned that if I want to do things in life that are awesome and are amazing and are out there and are different, I'm going to have to really stop worrying and caring and have that, as I call it, Northern Ireland mindset of worrying about what people think and what people say and gossip and stuff, And it probably started, I think the first big thing since then probably was the MTV show.
That'll do it for you.
Yeah, it was a big fucking leap. So it was like, and it's definitely not, it's not the normal thing from a guy from Larne to do, like, but it was a brilliant show. It was, we were in Italy for a month filming it in a villa with Danny Dyer and Maya Jama were the presenters of it, and it was, I don't think at that stage I still hadn't like fully got the confidence I've got now, so I struggled with a lot of it. I probably could jump into something like that now and like really enjoy it. I wouldn't say I enjoyed any of it or the process of it because I just wasn't that confident back then.
Yeah.
But then coming back off that, we released the Bear Strong documentary, and then the Bear Strong documentary just went viral. Just went all around the world. And that sort of led to like then a lot of people coming forward and being like, we want you to come and talk at schools about your story, and we want you to talk at workplaces, and then I was like, this is actually something I'd like to do as a career now, and that's where I put a lot of my focus into, is to start doing seminars and talks, here, there, and everywhere. And it is a story that, as cheesy as this sounds, it does change lives and it saves a lot of lives. So it's hugely rewarding that way for me, and to be able to do it as my actual career now, it's brilliant. I just want more and more and more of it, as much as I can get. But the past 4 years it's been mental, and there's a lot of things in the pipeline which is even more mental. Prior to COVID, like there's 2 TV series that I'll be presenting.
Shut up, Jesus.
Once travel is okay.
Yeah.
One of them was all good to go, and then COVID came, and it involved traveling around a lot of the world. So that really put the foot in that there. And then the other one still involves a lot of travel. So whenever I finally get the go ahead, I'm looking forward to that a lot. Like, that's what I really I've wanted for a long time, to meet other people and tell other people's stories, because everybody has a story. It doesn't matter, everybody has a story. Not everybody has a name. Do you know what I mean? My story is no greater or better or more inspiring than what a lot of other gay people or even a lot of other men's story is. It's just I have a platform I can tell it on. You walk into a gay bar and you talk to numerous amount of gay men, and they'll be able to tell you stories very similar. They'll be able to tell you stories of a lot more hardship. You walk into to any bar and you talk to any man, and they'll be able to tell you their story and their struggles and stuff. So I say my story isn't anything special. It's just I get a platform to say it on. So to be able to go and meet people and interview people and hear like loads of stories in a series, I think that would be really powerful to do. Like, and obviously it would be pretty awesome to present your own series, like, as well.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, yeah. Well, Chuck You Around the World has that. Sounds you'll chat away to everybody. Sick, unreal, no bother.
I have asked twice. Maybe more than twice now. I really desperately want to do a guest judge on RuPaul's Drag Race UK. And
see, that's pretty, like stabbing for it. I imagine there's a queue up for that at this stage. Like,
there's a queue up for it, but some of the celebs they've had on have been really shit. Like, like Gemma Collins in it last year should have been nowhere fucking near RuPaul's Drag Race. She was awful, like absolutely awful. And I was sitting watching that go, I can't believe they put that on instead of me. But I really want to do it because I think that the show, as much as I love it, as much as I'm a huge fan, it's not very diverse it's not very diverse to the gay community. It doesn't show a lot of the gay community. I just believe I can bring something a wee bit different in, when it shows something a bit different. Plus, I'm a massive fucking fan. You just be fangirling like fuck. Be one of them ones where you'd be like so buzzing off your tits inside, but you have to be like, okay, Chris, calm down. Like, go in here, be professional. Like, don't start screaming and shit.
Yeah, you're in like cold sweats, I hear you.
You're trying to like act cool in front of RuPaul and all, but
very good. A funny one there, yeah. Don't even need to be a judge. I'll be at the end of the table if you want me. Yeah, well, I mean, you came to the right podcast. I mean, I heard that he is a keen listener. The producers as well. I mean, that's what I was saying. Do you know what I mean? You have obviously done these, things like, MTV and, Talk and Present and stuff like this. But this is where people really make their mark. Do you know what I mean? This is the big bucks, big game. Not many people realize that because they're so niche. No, but like, Jesus, yeah, I suppose like, I mean, well, like, I suppose, like, let's take it back. Obviously, that's, this is where you kind of hurt the moment, and, that's what you're looking forward to the future. But, like, to bring it back to yourself, like, obviously, starting off and, somebody, as you said, that has a platform now, like, when did you, like, first, start creating this platform? And, like, was it kind of, suppose, doing the strongman competitions and ultimately getting into Bear Strong? Like, was this something that you always kind of gravitated towards to? Or was there, like, potentially another path in mind? Is there, like, another life where you're supposed to be like a pharmacist or something?
I think my life up until I was 28 was to get married, have children, to marry a girl and have children and stuff, and that's the direction I was going in. I was engaged to a girl and trying for kids and stuff, and had a house bought and all that carry on, like, and that was my direction in life for a long time, and then what actually happened was I actually ended up meeting the guy who got really close to as a friend, and then we were best friends for a year, where we didn't tell anybody about our relationship and stuff. But at the end of that year, it was the first time I actually got to see that, I could actually do a relationship with guys instead of just always, copping off with them. Like, I could actually date and go out and actually enjoy. Before that, it was always a huge no-no. Like, that was always a nah. Like, I would never want that type of thing. But, so that made me think, right, well, I think that was the first time in my life I was like, right, this is the first time I'm not happy with my sexuality, and it's making me unhappy. So I need to look at changing it. So I started to travel over to London, going over to London on my own just, and sort of exploring around and going to other cities and stuff. And then I realised that, right, there's a whole big massive world out there. If Northern Ireland doesn't accept it, if I'm not accepted where I am, there's a massive world out there that can accept it, and it's just a matter of literally getting on a boat and you're away. Do you know what I mean? It just became so simplified. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I was actually prepared for a long time. When I actually came out, it was a come out and goodbye. That's what I was prepared to do. I was prepared to just get up, go and move over to London, or close to it. But yeah, regards like that put me on. Obviously, when I came out and stuff, came out as the first openly gay strongman in the UK and in Europe and Ireland, and it was a headline. Do you know what I mean? It was catchy to the media. It was catchy to the different things, and it got me a lot of TV and media attention. So I did an interview on UTV in the Pamela Valentine show for the first time, talking about mental health and the struggles that I've been through and stuff. And after that, we got like shitloads of messages, people contacting us, like trying to tell their story, like reaching out for help, talking about how bad their own mental health has been and stuff. And it was just like, shit, you know, what do you do with this? You know, you can't like sit and reply to hundreds of messages and like help people. So decided to do a documentary called Bear Strong, where you actually like tell the whole story. And the idea is that, you know, people can hear the story of my past and see my future today. And that in itself is a huge savior for people, because they could be like, people look at you go on, you look at my Instagram, you look at my socials now, you look at the life I live now, and they're like, you look at him, he's on TV and he's married now, you know, he's doing well for himself and all the rest of it. He looks still happy. And then when they hear the story of where you came from, and hear the story that, you know, that I did try to take my own life and I didn't want to be here anymore, and had years of self-harm and self-abuse and stuff, and you know, I came through all that to be where I am now. It just, anybody who's in that situation back then and hears my true raw story of what it was like for me back then can relate, and then they can look forward and be like, well, look where he is now. You know, that could be me. It's just giving hope. You know what I mean? It's just giving hope to people, because I didn't relate to them. I just hoped that I could get through it. But so yeah, it was, this direction was sort of almost hand it to me type of thing. It was that first interview on the Pamela Valentine show, and then it was just stuff coming forward and like dealing with it, processing it, like making stuff happen, and yeah, it was just snowball. I think this is the first time where I'm actually sitting back and being like, what direction I'm going in, because everything just came fucking here, there and everywhere before. Like, you know, it was like MTV was like an Instagram message, you know, RTE was it was just a random email, you know, it was the other producers just get your number somehow, you know, it just all came to you, like, you know what I mean? And you just sort of like dealing with it, processing it, like doing it as it comes. This is the first time where I've actually sat back and I've been like, right, what am I going to do for the next few years? Like, what's my future? What am I planning out and stuff? And it's exciting, but it's also very foot off the pedal at the moment. Do you know what I mean? It feels a wee bit that I'm not, because I'm not flat out busy at the moment, it feels that I'm being lazy or something, or I'm not working. Do you know what I mean? I just used to go, and now it's like, sit back and have a think and plan stuff, and I'm not used to that. Like, you know, but I think I'm like getting there now. Like I'm nearly at the stage of actually getting stuck back into work again, where I nearly have things all planned out. But it's different at the moment. Like, you know, it really is.
Yeah, I suppose, like, fuck me, that was like, I suppose that everything just kind of like, just went like tumbled one after the other, and you kind of want to keep up with the momentum of it, I suppose, as things go along. So then you don't really even get like a chance to, you know, be like, what am I doing right now? Do you know what I mean? You're almost just being chucked around each thing. But like, yeah, it's like, it's as you said, like, it's just, I suppose, even for everybody, I suppose in the last couple like years, like fucking with lockdown and everything else, I think that kind of gave everybody a bit of an opportunity to slow down and be like, wait, what the fuck were we doing there? Because everybody was in that kind of just be like, oh yeah, just like the next thing, or, you know, as you said, I'm the exact same. Like, if I wasn't busy, like, I mean, I was like, being like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I just always had something going on. And I suppose it wasn't until, you know, everybody had to shut for a hot second that I was being like, what am I doing? Like, I literally moved down to Dublin just before the pandemic hit, and then I was like, how did I get here? So yeah, I can only imagine. I mean, for yourself, that's just like, you're only now getting to catch your breath and be like, all right, okay, like, let's see where we go. Here we go.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like, it was only a couple of weeks ago, I messaged one of the producers and it was just like, well, any crack with the series? Like, when's it happening and all? And they're like, yeah, it's getting close, still working on it and stuff. And then you're like, fuck. And then, you know, it was very much being left on your own at the moment. Like, do you know what I mean? Which is good, you know, because I started writing the book Bear Strong, and that means a lot to me to get it done. When the fuck it will be finished, God only knows. The way the time it takes me to fucking write shit, like, but it will be done at some stage. Like, I think we're
Can't promote it here.
For like two chapters out at the moment, like it's like 10 to
Dear
go.
diary.
Yeah, I'll literally be done in like 2 years or 3 years thing. But yeah, and then you know I've been working on other things too, and I brought out a new clothing range called Fuck Up, and it means a lot to me. It's been in the back of my head probably for about 2 or 3 years now. And it's one of them things as well that if it would have came out when it was first in my head, it would never have been as good as it is now.
Yeah.
Like the way it's coming out now, it's really fucking good. Because it's loads of meaning behind it and the design of it and stuff's brilliant. So it's one of them things, sometimes an idea is better sitting in your head for a while, you know, before you just jump on something type of thing, you know. But yeah, it's definitely a different way of life. You know, I like the go. I like being busy. I like having every day booked out and stuff. So to actually sit back and be like, okay, you need to manage yourself to work today and stuff. It's just not me, like, you know. But
yeah. I mean, well, you made and now you get to make time for stuff like this. I mean, God, you must be like, give me the fuck back to work, honestly. Yeah, sorry, Connor. I'm actually really busy at the moment. Yeah, no, didn't hear that, Chris. You're actually taking it fucking out. But I suppose, like, yeah, like, I mean, within the last couple of years has been absolutely insane for you, and as well, I mean, as I said, with things coming up as like. You're literally planning out, as I said, fucking clothing book. Presenting, you know, there's a lot that's, you know, steadily packing up there, even though you're going like, yeah, there's like sitting back, you know, trying to take it all in here. But I suppose, like, before this life, you know, even like as a strong man, and, you know, obviously before everything kind of blew up, like, I suppose, like, well, I'm trying to think about, like, you know, every, you know, where they kind of lead around in life. I feel like there's some things in their earlier years that maybe have, you know, impacted them or like informed the kind of people you are today. And I don't know if you had many kind of like character building jobs growing up that I suppose has given you this almost, it seems like, you know, fatality and kind of like, you know, I'm trying to think of the right word. If it's like, I was trying to be strong-headed, but I'd be like, that's actually really insulting. You know, like the backbone that kind of has, you know, pushed you through to essentially what has been, you know, big steps in your life in this stage now. Like, I don't know if this is like a thing that's only happened, or was there kind of any character building moments that happened earlier in your life that...
I think that what has got me to where I am today, and the main thing about me today is that I have confidence to do anything, which wasn't me before. You know, like, don't get me wrong, I still go into a lot of situations battling anxiety and I'm struggling with nerves, but because of who I am, you know, like if I walked into you know, a seminar, a talk, or if I walked into something and was just the most confident, cocky person, like, people would look at me then and they wouldn't relate to what I'm about. You know what I mean? Like, I remember a fella trying to help me before, where he was like, you know, look, I can help train you to get the nerves out of your voice and stuff like that when you do talks. And I was like, yeah, that's something that's always annoyed me. And then I actually thought about it and I was like, no, because, you know, there's brilliant motivational speakers in the world, like, that I listen to, like Les Brown and Tony Robbins and stuff. If Tony Robbins and Les Brown were to sit and talk to me about their anxiety and how bad their anxiety is, I would struggle to like relate because of how empowering a person they are. So I like to keep that part of me. I don't want to like wash it away. But when you're saying about, like, you know, instead of like character building throughout my life, I think it's been the opposite. Where it's been constant knocks and blows. You know, like when I was a kid, I was bullied all through primary and secondary school, and you know, there's just been endless amount of knocks and setbacks, and then to be in the lowest of lows, and to be, you know, in the situation, the state that I was in, it gives you fantastic strength when you come out the other side of it.
Yeah.
It makes you not care about things that aren't worthwhile caring about. Do you know what I mean? You don't stress, you don't worry about things. You do have that mindset in your head where you think to yourself, you've done a lot worse than this. You know what I mean? You brought yourself up from the gutter, like, you know what I mean? You fought back from, literally wanting to kill yourself to being where you are today. Tasks and challenges seem less daunting then. Do you know what I mean? And it just shows you what strength you have to do stuff, and there's still things I struggle with. Like, I wouldn't say I'm the most strongest minded person. I struggle with dying. I struggle with quitting cigarettes. I struggle with
the bar.
There's a lot of things that I struggle with. Like, you know what I mean? But are they things that I really genuinely want in life? But anything that I truly want in life, anything I truly want to achieve, that I believe I have it inside me to achieve whatever I want to achieve. And you normally find when you do things and you don't stick to them, it's because you don't really want it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it may not have been character building throughout the years. I think it was the opposite until it got to the stage where I took control and then showed myself what I'm actually capable of doing. And it does give me great strength today.
Yeah, I suppose. Fuck me. You really took control, like, Jesus, from kind of words they held on. Like, even to, like, I suppose the point of, like, even influence, as you said, so many others. And, like, even, with the likes of fucking, like, Larne Pride and stuff like that. I mean, was that, like, I suppose, is that, like, a thing that you, like, that's, like, legacy.
That was
do you know what I mean? Yeah, like, but also that's like a thing as well, to be like, sometimes you don't see ones for a couple of years, and then they'll be like, oh yeah, what have you been up to? And then it'll be like, shit, like, do you know what I mean? Like, this is like a thing that changes not just, how you're perceived or, people's kind of thoughts of your own life, but changes so many others in that kind of sense. And especially in an area like Larne, or, just like, it's just especially up the north, just fucking itself. Like, I mean, it's just that, I suppose those are kind of like the situation has been like, how do you go from like A to like literally being like, it just almost seemed like with all the things that you've been doing now, it was meant to happen, if you get me.
Yeah.
Like it lends yourself to it with your kind of like, abilities.
It does feel a lot of that there. A lot of things were sort of meant to happen. And it just comes like the Larne Pride type of thing. Like, it just came from the same thing that Bear Strong and that comes from, where it's just, always thinking of little Chris type of thing. And there is a lot of little Chris's out there. There's a lot of teenage lads. There's a lot of people who are trying to figure things out and struggling. And the main thing for me growing up and knowing that there was something about me that was attracted to men, the main thing and the main problem was there was no visibility of it. Like, I literally can't remember much to do with LGBT or gay until 27, 28. Do you know what I mean? Until I actually took myself into that world. I don't remember much about any of it, or seeing much, or like being exposed to anything or nothing like that. So, visibility, and to have it in my hometown, the first year, I was 2,500 people at it the first year. Probably about 1,000 of that was the family and kids side of things. I did notice in the first year, there was a lot less of the LGBT community locally at it. And I was a wee bit miffed at the time. And then afterwards I thought about it and I was like, no, I think that's like an anxiety thing for people who are LGBTQ. Like a heterosexual person going to Pride is nothing to be anxious about or worried about. But for somebody, from Larne, who is gay, lesbian, bi, trans, whatever, and the first Pride's been held and they have no idea, like, what the anxiety I was going through, not knowing how it was going to be received, so yeah, I understood it after the first year that it would take a lot of confidence for people to actually come forward. Not everybody's able, but in the second year, obviously we had a gap with COVID, and then this year I noticed a lot more of the community there because they obviously seen all the pictures on Facebook and stuff. They seen how well it was received, how well it went down, that there was no shit, there were protesters at it. So it made them a lot more comfortable about coming this year. And this year was a total sellout again, but it was only in the night time version of it we did this year because of the way things are. But I do want it to be back next year. I want it to be bigger next year, and I want a parade to start happening as well. So it's one of them things that just worked, and it could have been it could have been the total opposite. You know, there was a lot of hate from some people in the town and some businesses in the town. And it was brilliant to be able to name and shame them, you know, once they showed their true colours and be like, okay, don't go to this bakery because they refuse to give baps for the barbecue.
The politics of it all, also.
Oh, it was wild. It was wild. Literally, the guy that was doing the barbecue the first year at it got a phone call on Thursday from the bakery he uses. It's a catering business, like. Yeah. And he was like, look, sorry, I'm not going to be able to deliver any baps tomorrow. And he was like, why, are you away on holiday this weekend or what? And he was like, no, because you'll be using them down at that Pride event.
Guys, and their baps, I swear you can fucking, oh Jesus, boys.
And his reply was, it was like, why, your fucking gay's not allowed to eat? He's just, you know, but yeah, it was
not
good.
My town.
It was good. That's literally what it was like. So it was good it was actually good that them people riddled themselves out. And, you know, then you're able to tell people, you know, look, here's the crack with this person, here's who, you know, every time you hand over your money at the counter, here's the type of person it's going to, like, you know. Yeah. Whereas before they would have sat very quiet over the years, you know.
And suppose it's probably even like, well, just I've noticed it, and obviously this isn't like a localized thing, but obviously in big corporations, like, it's almost people are leaning into it so much now where it's like, I don't know if you've seen this video or TikTok where it was this Pride this year and a girl was like taking the piss out of corporations getting involved in it, where they go like, hi gay, boots the house down to a great deal of Target. I think it's just been an interesting one, especially like I know there's the last couple of years I've even kind of just been like, God, everything's like, it seems to just on a whole flip in its head, I suppose. Like, but I mean, it depends at different levels. Like, but yeah, I think that's just been one of the funniest things to come out of it, being like, how do we make this? Like, how do we sell this? But like, make for the gays. I hear they love bops. Apparently, they're ordering a big batch in Larne. Yeah.
You'll see that in most if you ever go to London Pride.
Yeah.
It's so business, so commercialised. It's just like float after float after float of just delivery trucks, and just it's just you know, yeah. But it is, you know, do you want support, do you not want support?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I personally, like, if I see them with a Pride label on it, I buy it, you know what I mean, because it's just like fair play. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're
easy target, exactly.
Yeah, if you're bringing it like Sharjah, and I guess, like, you know, no matter what, you know, like when I done Larne Pride, you know, I have a business behind me. I have local businesses. Yeah, and I risked them businesses getting, you know, if it went bad, I risked them businesses getting chumped and shone. Do you know what I mean? So like, there was, like, I definitely have thoughts in my head, like, you know, are you going to lose your business out of this year? Like, and it was a worry, you know. Luckily, and there was like members who left because of it. You know, the gym did lose members. Don't get me wrong, you know, not to the extent that it causes any harm, and, you know, it probably helped promote the gym a bit too. Like, but, you know, there is that aspect. So when a company does put their neck out there to support, yes, sometimes it's too much about, look at us, we are supporting, but it's sort of like, well, at least they're doing a bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's the type of thing, people are like, oh, well, you just do this at Pride and you piss off. And it's like, yeah, but like a lot of companies just do a fucking coffee and scone morning for cancer charity. They can't do it every fucking morning. Like, do you know what I mean? They come, they do their bit at the time, they show their support, they show their about, and then they move on. Like, they can't be at it all year round and, you know, having a Pride day every day at work. Like, you know?
Not that attitude, Chris. All right, Jesus.
They've been work done.
But I suppose, like, as well, I mean, with all the things that have happened, like, have there been any, I suppose, like, major, I suppose every moment has kind of been like mad, but like, have there been any major standout moments that kind of came from this life that you're leading now, I suppose you probably never imagined could have happened. I suppose, does it reflect back to like that little Chris where you're being like, Jesus, or like, has there been any ones where you, like, now reflected back, I suppose they're like pinch me moments?
There's been a lot of like, there's been a lot of like good things that have happened. Do you know what I mean? And there's been like loads and loads of like, and to some people, I guess that they could be huge things, and they were huge things, but they weren't the shivers up your back thing. Do you know what I mean? For me, like in strongman, walking out to 5,000 people and competing, up to 10,000 people on some shows, that was shivers up your back type of thing. And I still have, I guess, the images that have been in my head for a long time is holding seminars to thousands of people. That has been in my image for a while, you know, and when that happens, then I think that'll be a real shivering thing. I think when I produce my own TV series and get to see it on TV, I think that'll be a spine chilling. I guess I don't feel that I've done it yet. You know, I don't feel that, you know, I've always aimed big, you know what I mean? And it is one of them things, if you aim big, you know, aim for the moon, you fall amongst the stars type of thing. You know, I've always had great big expectations, and I'm not scared to, you know, want for, like, you know, a lot of people would laugh at me when I say about like wanting to be a guest judge in RuPaul's Drag Race, but loads of people laughed at me when I said about going on the MTV. Loads of people laughed at me when I said about going to the BBC or the RTE. You know, like, loads of people laughed about a lot of things in my life. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not here. I'm not scared or worried about hearing no. No doesn't faze me in life. And I always would have been scared of no. Like, everything from work to getting turned down in an interview to sport, you know, failing the show or not getting picked for something, or you're not winning something, to even picking up girls, you know, like, to be hear no. It was like, no was always a very sore thing for me to hear, you know, where fast forward a lot of years, probably from when I was like 20, 27, 28 onwards, I just realised it was like in life you're going to get 9 no's out of 10, but it's the one yes that matters, and that's the way everything is. From business to competition, competing, to anything you go out there to do, to dating or trying to pull people, it's all the same. That you're going to get like endless no's, and I get one yes. So like, it's still a lot of no's going on at the moment, you know, but like the yeses will come, and I think that will be when I just have this image in my head of holding a seminar to thousands of people, and like walking out to like thousands of people who are there to hear me talk. Like, that I think when that happens, that'll be like, fuck, you know, I made it type of thing. Or when I am actually filming my own show and stuff, and then that'll be a big, right, you've got it now type of thing. But it doesn't mean that I'm unthankful for everything else that happened, because I am, like, I know how lucky I am, and a lot of it means stuff. But I think that it'll probably be the same when those things happen. When they happen, it's just like, that's awesome, and then you move straight past it.
Yeah.
I never reminisce on anything. Like, to me, it's when things happen with me, like, yeah, I can sit and think about it and look back at it in a positive way, but when it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's it. I don't even like talking about stuff the next day or a couple of days after. People, like, even when I won a strongman show, when people talked about it to me the next day, I had no interest.
You're also being like, wait, what was that?
Yeah, it's just like, they were like, well, you know, 'cause people were like, oh, well done yesterday, you did well, and you're like, yeah, thanks, and that's it. As far as I want the conversation to go. It's just like, I've moved on now to something else, like, you know.
Yeah.
And it's the same with everything, really. Like, you know, it's just, I just move on very, very, very quickly, you know.
Yeah. And here's me literally being like, yeah, so like everything you've done so far. Yeah, like, I know, I get it. Yeah, Connor, fucking let's say other interviews. But I suppose on the flip side of that, I mean, with everything, like, it seems like you've really, you know, kind of got your life together, and like to like a point, I suppose, where you're being like, you're not afraid of no's, you're not afraid of, you know, fucking anything really at this stage. You're being like, look, I'm happy in myself, I'm happy in life, and you're doing exactly what you want and you know where you want to go. Like, but from this stage, I suppose, have there been kind of any horror stories like that came from, I suppose, all the good? Like, has there been any, like, even like, I know, backlash or like a change in situation that you kind of been like, oh, okay, like, I suppose this is what happens whenever I, like, become more in the spotlight? Or has it been, it seems to be majority pretty, like, good?
I think you just need to watch yourself a wee bit more. There is a lot of people out there that are out to try and get you, and I have experienced that online through Instagram and trolls and stuff like that. A real, like, there's some awful manipulative people out there, like, that they just want to try and screw you in that type of way. And, you just have to be really, really careful and watch yourself, and just don't get sucked in, I guess, with people. And there's been times where I've, like, twigged on very quickly that, people are trying to suck me into something. And, there's been things like, there's been scams and stuff like that done online with my name and stuff. And that's annoying and hurtful, like, because I just think, anybody who's gone into that has gone into that because they've seen my face, they've seen who I am, and people have used that and used me and my story to try and scam people, i.e. here's a website, or here's a, there was one time where there was an Instagram page was set up, and then there was a link to an OnlyFans, and it wasn't even OnlyFans, it was like some other link. People were going on to it thinking like, oh, he set up an OnlyFans, and clicking on it, and then they were banging and wiping out their cards and stuff, and it was a bit shit that my images were being used to do that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I felt for people, who had got, sucked into stuff like that, but yeah, and then not so much now, obviously, because, like, I'm with my fella and I'm settled and stuff, like, but the catfishing thing was huge for a long time. Like, it was huge. It really was something that, like, it got me angry, like, do you know what I mean? But it was, like, totally getting set up with fake profiles and stuff, and, like, getting, like, catfished just so people can meet you and stuff. And it was just, like, absolutely no need to do stuff like that. It's just like, offer to buy me a drink when I'm out, and I'll sit and talk to anybody. Like why go to all this extent?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's nothing really scary. I can't think of anything like really scary, but it was just like, I think I've always been a type of person who would, like, I think it's just with anxiety and stuff like that, you overthink everything with anxiety. Mm-hmm. So every time I go do something, I do overthink it a lot. Like, I go do, like, think, like, well, if I do this, like, what's the worst thing come out of this? Yeah. And you're just a million miles ahead of yourself, like, worrying about shit. So I think sometimes that keeps me on my toes a wee bit, but yeah, you just always have to watch yourself,
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, if the worst that's came out of it is, fake OnlyFans, quite complimentary actually. Yeah, and a couple of fish, and like, I suppose, in the wider scheme of things, it's been pretty good.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I don't want to fucking jinx myself here, like, you know what I mean, but I've sort of been relatively lucky that way, you know what I mean? The newspaper, because, like, say, MTV show, even doing that, like, how they decide to edit you as to how you look across. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they turn around and you're like, nah, and they can do it so well. They can do it so well. Like, just, two of the girls that we were, like, best friends with in that show, they were the most funniest, the most nicest. They were the best of crack. And
did they get the villain at it?
Oh, fucking hell. They were absolute bitches when we watched them on TV. They were so bad that actually I was disliking them a wee bit. Like, I was like, fucking bitch. And then you were trying to remind yourself, like, because it was like 6 months before, you were trying to remind yourself, you were like, oh, they are actually dead on. Like, you know what I mean? But it was just like, the way that it was edited, it was just like, fucking hell. What a bitch.
Yeah.
So you have to be a wee bit lucky with all that stuff, like, and so many people, like, are worse off. Like, you look at your guy, TV presenter, Matt Lobb or something, or what you call him, and like he got massively screwed over with that there, where he got stitched up online. It ruined his entire career. Like, he lost everything out of it. Like, because he got, what do you call it, stood up to have a wank online, and it got fucking shared everything. He just lost everything out of that. Like, and you know, it's easy done. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the right person's just, you know, can get caught so easily.
Yeah.
Like, so
I suppose it's a bit harder to fuck with a strongman as well. I suppose it's so
it doesn't make a difference when it comes to online. When it comes to online, like, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't even make a difference in person either, like, to be honest. But and it would amaze you. Like.
But I suppose, I mean, from this, I mean, and everything else that's been going on, you're kind of mentioned there, you know, what the kind of future holds. I mean, but are there, like, well, you've already told me what your bucket list things are, but is there anything that you're being like, this will be like my kind of like, my standout, you know, kind of point? Obviously, RuPaul's Drag Race, obviously, you know, the book, like, even, you know, fuck up clothing, but like, I mean, like, is this kind of where you see everything going on for the next while, or is there anything being like, no, like, I'm going to get my own TV series, I'm going to, you know, create like an empire for it, essentially everything? Yeah, I mean, it seems like there's good fuel for it. Like,
yeah, I think that you know, at the moment, that's what this time is about a lot. Like, this time is time that I need to sit and think. Right, you know, I'm 32 now, and you know, it does, when you get into your 30s, you do think differently. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like, well, I did sort of think a while ago. I was like, right, well, you're not going to still be a PT when you're 40 and 50 years old. You know, that's, the PT is a young person thing, and it phases out. So, you know, that's why I moved in different directions even years ago, and now is the time I'm sitting looking, right, what are you going to be at? And I do have things, you know, what I was saying, like, I do want to have, I do want to be basically a TV presenter and go in that direction, but to present things that I have a heart with it, you know what I mean, stuff that really lie with me, you know, and that I can be passionate about, and
Babs
you can
and
actually yeah, like stuff that you can actually make a difference with. You know, I genuinely wouldn't have, you know, if somebody just asked me to come along and present just a random show that didn't have any meaning or any, you know, impact on people, I wouldn't have an interest in it. Like, it wouldn't appeal to me. But, you know, sometimes it's, money has never been a great maker of me. You know what I mean? I've never been that orientated when it comes to money, but I've seen, I've felt like the huge reward you can get from like changing somebody's life.
Yeah.
And it's addictive as fuck for me. You know, it really is addictive. And I feel that I have purpose in this world still when I'm doing that. And when I don't do that, then that's when I find myself slipping back. And, you know, when I do start questioning sort of my own self-worth in this world and stuff, is when I'm off that, like, when I take my foot off the pedal a bit with that. So for me, I guess that's why I wouldn't, you know, if somebody asked me to present a show in Bacon or something, or like on sport or something like that, that's why I wouldn't do it. You know, yeah, it would probably be fun at Benderson, but I know that my own mental health wouldn't be right after a while, because I would have lost that sort of bug, or that wantness, you know, or that need to sort of help other people. You know, if I could spend an hour in a room with 1,000 people who want my help, or to be on TV doing an hour to millions of people, I'd rather be in that room with 1,000 people. Like, so I guess that's in the long run. When I look at it in the long run, it's trying to reach out to the biggest amount of people that I can, and you know, Bear Strong will develop into a charity at some stage. It will develop into you know, a mental health charity where it can have some type of setup in Northern Ireland. But I need to get it bigger and more well known first, and then we'll look down them routes, you know. But yeah, it is, whatever the bigger scale is going to be in the future, I don't know, but it will be a bigger scale of but keeping the purpose of what we're doing now, like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose that's kind of like the only way that you can go through it is be like, right, this is where we came from, this is where we're going, and what, as you said, if you're going to be, going down this kind of route, being like you want it to be meaningful, what impacts you, and what values that you're looking to take away from it, instead of just being like rolling with the punches, or just be like, yeah, sweet, yeah, that'll do, like, but like, I suppose that's the kind of best way to look at it. Do you know what I mean? You're being like, no, if that's not gonna fucking send me down the right kind of route, like, then what use is it to you, like?
Yeah, that's it. Like, money does talk in some ways, but I think that anything that I've done revolving money has to have a purpose with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I'd be like, right, if I go and do this, it'll make me this amount of money, but then I can go and do that with that amount of money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it always has to have a purpose. It always has to have meaning. It's just not like. I worked in the banking world for years. That was my job before I did now. I worked in banks for 6 years, and it was honestly one of the most depressing, horrible places I've ever been in my life. And it turned the heart and soul out of me about money.
Yeah.
It was just like I seen so many people who had money coming out their fucking ears, but the most miserable lives.
Yeah.
Like genuinely the most miserable, awful lives. I just looked at it and been like, how is that? People who were in their 60s, 70s, millionaires, like billionaires, and working from 6, 7 o'clock in the morning to 9, 10 o'clock at night, 6 days a week. It's just like, why? Why would you be doing that? Like, you're fucking 2 steps off fucking death's door, and you're running around working all them hours with millions and billions and like businesses everywhere and real estate everywhere and all. And it's just like, don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people have a passion for their work, but like that, or for their work, but like there has to be something else. Like, what I mean? You can't just you can't have one thing ruling your whole life, no matter what it is, like no matter how much you love it. Like, life is far more vast than just work, or far more vast than just sport. It needs to have all things included, and it needs to have work, it needs to have sport, it needs to have love, it needs to have family, it needs to have friends. If you don't fill your life with all those things, it really and truly is filled with fuck all. You know what I mean? But yeah, me look at money in a very realistic way, where it's, you need it to survive, but that's a bit fucking it.
Yeah, and I suppose just on that note as well, and obviously love money, time is also another thing that I have been destroying your evening with. So just before we wrap up and just before we go, because I'm just so conscious that I've absolutely just like racked well, it's supposed to be 6:30. Jesus Christ, it's like 7 o'clock now. No, we were supposed to start at 5:30. Fuck me. Oh, God. Okay, before we wrap up, I was wondering, would you play a quick game where I've been kind of writing down some, keywords and whatever like this, and we do some quick fire word association. Basically, first thing that comes to your head in it. I mean, there doesn't have to be an explanation.
This is going to be the disaster moment that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, see, everybody signs up for this podcast and then be like, yeah, whatever, like this, and then I get to ask them about like what's the highs, and then I'm being like, because after this is, it plummets pretty quickly. So, are you ready then? Are you up for playing it?
Cool.
That wasn't a yes. Fine, God, you're recording anyways. Okay, right, here we go. I suppose, first foremost, RuPaul.
Queen.
Baps.
Bacon.
Bear strong.
Strength.
Fuck up.
Clothing.
Presenting.
TV.
Larne.
There's literally nothing good to say about
Just find my soundbite.
Larne Harbour.
Jesus Christ. Okay, get back to Yara. Okay. A strong man.
Big, anyway.
And finally, Finnterviews.
Finally, what?
Finnterviews, the name of the fucking podcast.
All right. Fuck up. A different meaning.
Correct answer. And on that note, no, honestly, thanks so much. I literally do leave people on throughout it just to be like, oh God, and then just at the end they go like, fine, I guess, whatever. Yeah. So that's the first fuck up it deserved, actually. But I suppose, Chris, if anybody's been listening to your story and listened to us chat this night, I suppose if they want to follow along, everything else, if they want to start, like a petition or something like that to get you on Drag Race, if they want to do, anything on your behalf. I mean, if they want to maybe do like a legit OnlyFans, come through with some cool offers here and there. Where can they find you? Where is everything? Bearstrong, Chris McNaghten.
If you go to www.bearstrong.co.uk, it's really got everything on there, or Instagram, bearstrongmcnaghten. Those are two main socials I work with. If you try to get me anywhere else, I'll probably not. Probably just ignore you. Fuck up.
Well, Chris, it's an absolute pleasure. Again, thank you so much for being probably one of the most generous guests with their time and their patience. Yeah, thanks so much. And I can't wait to see where you're going from here. Honestly, it's been great chatting with you.
No bother, Connor. Thank you.
No worries. See you later, Chris. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Finnterviews. If you enjoy this podcast, please do remember to go listen to some of the past episodes and do give us a like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and make sure you're following me on social media as well. I'm off there on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Yeah, I'm on all those. Just search Finnterviews Podcast. You'll find me there, and give us a wee follow. And then you can also let me know who you would like to hear on the show next. Until next time, thank you very much for tuning in again, and I'll chat to you later. Bye.